Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. It's great to have you here today. I'm Anna, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend Chris. We love talking about travel, sharing our experiences, and maybe even helping you decide where and when to go on your next adventure.
Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us again. Today's topic is something a lot of travelers think about but don't always talk about in detail. We're going to discuss traveling during off season versus peak season. You know, uh, those moments when you ask yourself, should I go when the weather is perfect and the city is full of life? Or should I choose a quieter time when it's cheaper and there are fewer people? It's a tough decision, right?
Yes, it really is. Personally, I love traveling in the off season. When things are calm, the prices are lower, and I can really feel the local atmosphere without the crowds. But Chris here, he's a big fan of peak season.
That's true. I love the energy, the events, the weather, and the fact that everything is open and ready for tourists. So, this is going to be fun. We're going to share our thoughts, our personal stories, and of course, we'll give you some ideas for your own trips.
Let me start by saying this. Traveling during off season is like finding a secret world. Everything feels more real, more authentic. When I visit a city in the middle of November or early March, there are fewer tourists, which means I can actually enjoy the streets without being pushed around in a crowd. Imagine walking through Rome and being able to take a picture of the Colosseum without 20 people in the background. For me, that's priceless. And it's not just about space, it's also about the prices. Flights and hotels are usually so much cheaper in the off-season. Last year, I went to Barcelona in February, and the hotel was half the price compared to summer. That means I could stay in a nicer place and even eat at better restaurants. You don't have to worry about booking everything months in advance, and you still get a great experience. Now, of course, the weather might not be perfect, but honestly, that doesn't bother me. I don't need 35 degrees and a burning sun to enjoy a city. In fact, cooler weather makes walking around more comfortable. So yes, for me, off-season travel feels more relaxing and less stressful.
I get your point, Anna, and I respect it. But for me, peak season is when the magic happens. It's when the destination is alive, full of energy, and everything feels exciting. Think about going to a beach town in the summer. Music, people, festivals, outdoor bars, water sports. All these things are there because it's the high season. If you go in the winter, it's like a ghost town. And yes, there are crowds, but sometimes that's part of the fun. You meet people from all over the world. You make friends, you join group activities. There's this feeling of freedom because you're not the only one on vacation. Everyone around you is happy, relaxed, and ready to enjoy life. That atmosphere is hard to find in the off season. Weather is another big reason. I don't want to go to Greece and not swim in the sea because it's too cold. I want long sunny days. I want to eat outside in the evening, and I want to feel like I'm in summer paradise. For me, the weather is a big part of the experience, and you just don't get that in the off season.
I understand that, but sometimes the energy you describe can also feel overwhelming. For example, I went to Venice once in August, and honestly, it was a nightmare. The streets were so full of people that I couldn't even see the bridges properly. We waited almost an hour just to get into a small church. I felt stressed, not happy. For me, vacations should be relaxing, not a fight for space. In the off-season, you get the real Venice, the one locals know. You can talk to people because they actually have time for you. You don't feel like just another tourist in a sea of tourists. I also think you discover more hidden places because you're not stuck in long lines for the main attractions. So, if you love exploring and finding something unique, the off-season is perfect. And let's not forget the cost. When I save money on hotels and flights, I can use that money for experiences, like a local cooking class or a day trip outside the city. In peak season, everything is more expensive and sometimes even double the price. So, if you're traveling on a budget, off season is a game changer.
That's fair, but let me tell you something. A lot of destinations really shine during peak season because of special events. For example, summer in Spain means festivals like La Tomatina or the Running of the Bulls. If you go in February, those things aren't happening. In winter, some beach clubs close, some boat tours don't run, and certain attractions have shorter hours. Also, think about winter sports. If you love skiing, the peak season for that is, of course, in the winter months, when everything is open, the slopes are ready, and there are après-ski parties in the evening. Off season, you can't do that. So depending on what you want to do, peak season gives you more options. And about the cost, you're right, it's more expensive. But for me, it's worth it because I get the full experience. I'd rather save a little longer and go when everything is available than go cheap and miss out on the fun.
I understand what you mean about paying more for the full experience. But for me, the real luxury is space and peace. When I travel during the off season, I don't feel rushed or stressed. I can walk around without crowds and actually enjoy the atmosphere of the place. For example, when I visited Lisbon in November, it was fantastic. I could take my time in museums, enjoy the view from the Miradoros without waiting for a spot, and I didn't have to book a table in advance to get into a good restaurant. It felt simple, stress-free, and I even had more meaningful conversations with locals. When there aren't big crowds, you feel like you're really part of the city and not just a visitor passing through.
Yes, that sounds nice, but for me, the social life is a big part of travel. When you go during peak season, you can join group tours, meet people at bars, or even go to concerts or local parties. For solo travelers, this is a huge advantage. If you travel off season, sometimes you feel lonely because there's nobody around. I had this experience in Croatia in October. The beaches were empty, the bars were closed, and it was hard to meet people. For me, that wasn't fun. So, to wrap this up, I think we can agree on one thing. Both off season and peak season have their benefits. If you want energy, events, and perfect weather, then peak season is probably for you. But if you want peace, lower prices, and a more local experience, off season is the winner. It really depends on your travel style.
Absolutely. There's no one right answer. It's all about what you enjoy and what kind of trip you want. So think about your priorities. Do you want excitement or relaxation? Do you want festivals or empty streets? There's beauty in both. And now it's your turn. What do you prefer? Off season or peak season? Share your thoughts, your tips, maybe even your favorite destination for each season. We'd love to include some of your stories in our next episode.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and join the conversation. Until next time, happy travels.